Welcome to Is It Fast, where today we are talking to winner of the Aston Martin Academy, a BRDC Rising Star. He's a GT4 champion and a current GT3 driver as he heads off to the Asian Le Mans Series. Tom, thank you very much for joining us on Is It Fast. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
How did you find yourself in an Aston, and how did you find yourself then GT3 and GT4 and then GT3? How is that a thing?
So yeah. Well, GT4. I first got into GT4 in like 2018 was my first season in British GT, and I had a bit of a horrible year, if I'm honest. It was sort of, I started off in one car and had reliability issues, and I think we finished 2 out of 6 races or something. Then I moved into a Pro-Am car with Pro Technica in the Mercedes, and that was a lot better. We just didn't get many results, and the problem is we didn't have a full season, so you can't get championship points. But yeah, so we sort of came out the back of that year, and then the first thing I did with AMR, which is how it started and how I got on the academy, was I did the Abu Dhabi, the Golf 12 Hour in Abu Dhabi with the factory Aston team in GT4 for the debut race when they brought out the new GT4, and yeah, it's such a good week. It was just sort of up a level from anything I'd ever experienced, and yeah, and it sort of set my sights a bit on what level you need to be at to get results, and you see the being with a team that obviously does go out there and get results, and you see how they work, and I was a bit like, I need to be in a team like that. And then we started working with TF Sport, which are one of the highest level private teams out there, besides manufacturers. And yeah, with working with Tom Ferrier there, it's just been, done everything with them since, and it's been awesome.
Have you always been quite competitive? Is this always where you saw yourself going?
Yeah. I started karting when I was 6. Started racing when I was 8, and it was, I always wanted to do it, but it's one of those things where as you go through the karting ranks, it's sort of, I want to do it, but it does seem a long way away. And it all happens quite quickly, really. Like even going through karting, it's just, I remember when we started racing, and you're a bit like, you look at the British Championship guys, this is when you're like 10, 11 years old, and you'll look at the 11, 12-year-old British Championship guys, and you're like, they'll come to a club race where you race, and it's like, oh my God, that's so-and-so. And like, it just, everything seems quite far away, but it really sort of snowballs, and it just sort of happens. And then like when I was 12, I went on to win the British Championships in karting, and like, you don't think that's going to happen at the start, and then you start thinking about junior Gianettas and don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, it's crazy how it works, but it does move really quickly.
So looking ahead at, so you're going to fly out to the Emirates in a week or two. How do you see that going? Not the flight, I'm sure that'll be lovely, but in terms of competitively, are you backing yourselves? Do you think actually we can do a job here?
Yeah, I'm always sort of very confident in my ability in a car, and I think obviously with TF Sport again, I've worked with them before. I know they're going to be one of the best teams out there, and I'm also racing alongside Amid Al-Hati and Johnny Adam. Obviously Johnny's a 2-time Le Mans winner now, and Amid's a blank pan champion, so they're both proven, and it's going to be good racing with people with experience. There's a lot I can learn off them, and I think we got a strong lineup. I'm excited for it.
Asian Le Mans out the way. Let's imagine the world goes back to some sort of normality in the next little while. What's, and it might be a bit early to tell, but what's the plan? Do you want to, for example, find yourself competing at Le Mans? Where do you ideally see your track going?
Yeah, it's obviously very hard to tell, and it's very much down to opportunities with sponsors or other drivers or teams. But I mean, obviously, if we win Asian Le Mans series, that gives us a guaranteed entry to Le Mans. So that's obviously our goal is going to be to win it anyway. But a nice bonus if we do it is that we get that Le Mans entry, and that would be really cool to race at Le Mans. I mean, that's kind of my lifelong dream, to win at Le Mans. So to get there, I'd be 19, I think, when I'd race there. So that would be a bit of a dream come true.
So your race car, your racing home at the moment is a Vantage, which is, even when they're not moving particularly quickly, they are one of the single most beautiful motor cars I believe ever made. But in my extensive notes, because I do make notes for Is It Fast, getting yourself into a car, into an Aston Martin particularly, and onto the championship is not the easiest thing to do in the world. How did it come about? You know, was there like some moment where you got yourself in there?
Yeah, so it started with that race in Abu Dhabi that I mentioned, the Golf 12 Hour with the factory team, and then from there I was on the Aston Martin Racing Driver Academy, which is sort of a program where we went in for like initial assessments on fitness, media, and then obviously driving. And then 23 of us got onto the academy. But yeah, I mean, that was sort of, that bit at the start of the year was really important for me, because then I went on to obviously do British GT in GT4 with TF Sport, where I went on to win my first title in cars. And so it is such a team sport. If you're not in a really competitive car, which for the last 2 years has been the Aston Martin, hands down, and with TF Sport, which is easily one of the best teams out there. I mean, obviously, I won the Le Mans 24-hour last year, which I think proves my point quite nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just such an important factor. So, yeah, that was really good, along with Ashand, to go and win that title. And that's something that helped me then win the Aston Martin Racing Driver Academy, which was obviously a bit of a game changer for me.
What are they like? Are they? I mean, I imagine they're internally, particularly for the academy and that whole process. I can imagine they are like super supportive and give you all the little kind of insider tips and kind of little tricks that you can use that when you pop out the other end, and obviously in your case when you won it.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, if you went on the academy and didn't win it, it's still such a massive help, and you'd learn so much, and it's massive in itself. And you get so much out of just being on it, let alone winning it. So throughout the year we had media training, sessions with personal trainers, simulator time before every race I did, on the base performance simulator, which is literally the car that we race. And then obviously the great thing you have at Aston is they have very experienced, successful, well, people from motorsport in general, engineers, drivers. And as a young driver, the amount you can learn from just simply being around those people is massive. So like one example, this year after I won it, we went on the AMR training camp in Portugal, and before COVID, of course. Yeah, and sort of the amount you can learned just from being around the people with so much experience. It's yeah, I can't really thank them enough.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Toughest job interview ever.
Yeah, it was pretty yeah, a year-long one.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty extravagant. Calm down, Aston. That's pretty hard going. Well, Tom, thank you very, very much for joining us here on Is It Fast? And of course, myself and the whole team here wish you and the guys that are about to go out there and race with Oman Racing and TF Sport in the Asian Le Mans Series the very best of luck. Not that you need it; talent will see you through. But best of luck, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much once again to Tom for joining us here on Is It Fast, and best of luck to him and the entire team as they head off to race in the Asian Le Mans Series. If you like what you watched and listened to, then please do subscribe to us on your social media platform of choice, because we have some extraordinarily juicy interviews to come.
Yeah.